Mistress Nerds and Gig Lovers. I am Kirky, your gig mistress. This episode, I have the absolute powerhouse Ellen from Ellen, double front woman, solo artist, music writer, absolute total rock star. So over the moon to have you. How are you doing, Ellen? You all right?
I'm good, thank you. How are you? Sorry, my cat is just trying to make his way on my computer.
We've had this before. We had this with the babes, and I said this: all animals are welcome. All animals are welcome.
Yeah, no, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm amazing, thank you. And it is honestly, such a pleasure to have you on. Like, as I just said before we started recording, you are an absolute powerhouse. Like, seeing you on stage, unbelievable. Like, and it's really cool because what I want to talk to you about is obviously Ellen, but there's so much more to you and what you're involved in and what you do. So hopefully, for everyone who's watching, we might get to cover some of that.
Yeah. Oh no, thank you. Thank you for having me on. It's been really nice just to be asked to do this. So thank you. Thank you for asking me.
Wasn't not going to have you on. What if I'd have not had you on, and then when you get massive, I'd have been like, ah, crap.
Oh, we can dream. We can dream.
When you get massive, oh, and now I'll be like, I did it, and I made a total bot of myself on the internet.
Don't be silly. I'm the one that makes. I'm terrible. Me. If people don't think that I'm an absolute idiot by the end of this, then I'll be really surprised.
Well, I'm with you in that camp, and they won't. I promise they won't. But I think it'll be a guess of who can do more. Who can do more damage?
Yeah. Good point. Good point.
So, tell me a little bit about. Obviously, we'll start with Ellen. Tell me a little bit about this band, because like I said, I've seen you twice now? It was once. I've seen you once with Ellen, and blown away. And I really wanted to see you at the Metal of the Masters, and I missed it, and I was devastated. So tell me about the band, what you do, just for everybody who's missed out so far. And I use the term "missing out" literally. Right.
So Ellen is we describe it as a pagan Viking metal band. So basically what that is we fuse folk, we fuse sort of Nordic influences, that sort of folk or side of folk it is. And we fuse that with metal, big chugs, big drums, big guitars. We dress up as Vikings, medieval folk on stage. And we sing about a few different things, I suppose. We sing, I suppose that's where the pagan aspect of it comes in, because we sing about, sort of witchy aspect of things, hexes. We sing about the witch trials. We sing about sort of the discrimination of women and queer folk through time, basically. People who are neurodivergent, have ADHD, autism, people who are just generally different to other people. And the whole idea of Ellen, it sort of came from my love of folk and Vikings and metal. I wanted to fuse both of them. But I just wanted to be able to sing about things I was interested in as well. And I wouldn't necessarily say I'm interested about politics, but I am interested in women and women's rights and the general rights of everyone, really, and sort of just today's climate and the sort of struggles through time. But yeah, that's sort of where Ellen came from, and it is something that I think the Northeast hasn't seen, and I don't think there's, or from my knowledge, I think we are the only Viking metal band from the Northeast. So I think that's really cool for us. Obviously, you've got folk artists. You've got my friend Shannon Pill. She does witch pop, which is really cool. But apart from that sort of side of things, I don't think there's anyone really like us, which is obviously really, really cool.
I would agree. I would totally agree. I think it is an area of the Northeast that is kind of missing. We've had a few sort of like black metal, and we've had a few sort of like really sort of intense. We've obviously got like previous episodes, Spartan Warrior, sort of like new wave of British heavy metal was massive. But I'm a big muser, hence probably why I do a podcast with you. But having all this sort of the folk influence come in, and the whole side of it really does set you apart on stage. And I think the sound that you guys create. I've seen a few bands when I used to work back in the day, sort of like, say for example, Tarot or Fintroll, or a little bit of Cope the Clarny here and there, sort of stuff. But to have it sort of different, to have it
Mhm.
female fronted, to have it in the
Mhm.
northeast, I think is a huge thing. And
Mhm.
the costumes on stage, man, that just the stage show, the costumes, unreal.
Yeah. Oh, well, we've come quite a long way with them, to be fair. I mean, at the beginning, they were quite non-refined, shall we say? But I think as we've grown over the last year and a bit, nearly 2 years now, which is really mad to think that it's been nearly 2 years since we've been a full band. But yeah, I think we've definitely we've still got a way to go with that sort of side of things. There's definitely things that we're gonna be implementing in the next gig. There's definitely new ideas that I certainly have, sort of going forward for the whole look and stage show. There's loads we can do with it, but I think for sort of budget purposes at the minute, we're sort of limited until we are rich and famous and we can afford all the big shenanigans.
But this is it, it costs money, and it isn't it. You're an independent band, you're doing it yourself. And I think to have all
Yeah,
like costumes and stuff, you have to do it from scratch and you have to do it in a way. But you wouldn't guess. This is something seeing you on stage, you wouldn't guess this. You wouldn't think, oh, they've just gone in the wardrobe, down, or like they've borrowed some stuff off their mate. It looks
yeah.
absolutely incredible. And like the thing is,
Oh.
I don't know who your members. I know one of your members. I
Mhm.
don't know who your members are because their faces are covered, and that
Yeah,
is I've always liked in a band because it kind of keeps that mystery, and it kind of
yeah.
separates it as well. It kind of keeps it so that kind of mythological kind of thing of like not exactly like the human.
Yeah, exactly. And that another sort of aspect of Ellen is the fact that we are different people on stage. It's not us being ourselves. We are characters. I mean, Ellen for me is someone that was sort of born out of feminine rage, of misogyny and general discrimination and abuse. That's what that character is, and sort of grown stronger from that and developed this like weird demonic power that's also kind of sexy at the same time. That's the sort of way I was going
Yeah.
for it. And
No.
I wanted to be scary, and I wanted people to be like, oh my god, like what is she doing? But then also at the same time be like, actually,
Yeah.
kind of enjoying this.
I'd be sacrificed by that. I'm good with that.
Yeah, literally. Literally. Yeah. And so it took a little bit for the lads, but as we've sort of grown, I think the outfits have then not resembled, but have then sort of brought on a new sort of way of life for the lads as well. So obviously chainmail guy, who most people don't know who he is. He's sort of been the same from the beginning, but James, our bassist, who now wears a mask, we never sort of thought that that's the way that it was going to go. But then our good friend Raven actually made that mask, and James put it on. And I was like, I'm sold. I was like, you have to wear this every time. Like, this is so cool. And it just fits the whole vibe as well, because I think James is quite a shy person. He won't mind us saying that. He's quite shy until you get to know him. So him having that mask is like, it kind of is him, but it's also not him. So it's like a character. And I think it's fun to play with. It's really fun to
Yes.
play with.
And that gives it that whole perspective, like you say, it is characters. You're not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily taking yourself out on stage. You're taking Ellen out on stage. You're
Yeah.
taking James is taking chainmail guy. Is chainmail guy, and it's that
Yeah.
chainmail guy. I love it. It's got such a really
Yeah, that's the first time I've said that.
chainmail guy, and that's going to stick forever, just like the gig
But
mistress.
it is chainmail guy.
And this is what I love. So there was this bit when I saw you live at the Grove, and to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting it, where you basically came out and just looked like you'd garroted somebody basically with a heart and they get pulled and taking it out, and I was like, yes, this is good. and you did one called
Mhm.
Summon. There was a bit where I swear to God, if something had summoned itself out the stage, I wouldn't have been surprised. Just, oh, there's
Yes.
a real demon on stage. We'll have that. It was incredible. Is the Gorlesque side, is that kind of performance bit is that important? Is that?
Yeah, I always wanted Ellen to be theatrical, and I think with the things that we're singing about, I think it's hard not to be theatrical. And I suppose the way that we want our music to sound, it would be odd if we were just stood there with jeans and a t-shirt on. It just wouldn't feel right. So, if you're gonna take on the Viking and a witchy aspect, then thinking historically, that were bloody times. They were so bloody. So, bringing that into the show is kind of historically correct. Obviously, the song "Summon" is not historically correct, but bringing that into it, I think I think for me, it's an important part, and it's just fun, and it's something for people to look at and concentrate on, because I think it's great going to see a band where you really enjoy the music, but for me it's always been you've got to put on a show as well. It's got to be something that people want to watch, that people want to invest their time into and their money into, and to do that, it's got to be something that they can just be watching, and for things to be changing and for things to be happening, and also enjoying the music at the same time. And it's more like a weird live movie, I guess, if you're doing it in that way. And then it sort of allows people to remember parts of the show, and it's more memorable, I think. And yeah, I just really enjoy sort of spitting blood at people, to be honest.
I think
Gets my anger out.
It's the blood of my enemies. Spit it out. And this is the thing, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Uh-huh.
It is a magical show to see, and I think that has a whole world to expand as well. I think there's this whole aspect of where you're going, like you say, the Northeast. I think if anybody who's not local, because we do sometimes get people who watch us who aren't local, that I've had people in Sweden and all sorts. America, the Northeast was very, very invaded by the Vikings. There's a lot of Northeast culture here. We have Bamber Castle, we have obviously, which was formerly known Bebenberg. We have this huge, rich tapestry of culture. And to see that happening and coming through in what you do, I don't mind it, it brings me joy. I love it. I love all this kind of, I love all the witchy stuff and that is just, it feels good. It's that whole kind of thing when you see a show and the hairs stand up on your arm, and I'm stood in the grove watching you, and the hairs are standing up my arm, and I'm thinking, well, this hasn't happened in a while. This is good. This is this is awesome. I mean, you've got a couple of things that are really big with this band. So not only were you on BBC Music Introduced in Newcastle, weren't you? With this,
we've been on there a few times. Yeah, now, yeah.
Which shows you're getting noticed and shows you're getting picked up left, right, and centre, because rightly so. But also, sort of, you've just had a new single out, which was Mothers, which had this incredibly, for anybody who hasn't seen it, it's on YouTube. I'll put a link at the bottom of this video. It's an incredibly female empowering video. I'm all over it. It's brilliant. It is so cool. Tell me a little bit about not only the single, but sort of the video, the filming, stuff like that.
So when I wrote Mothers, it was one of those songs that came to me within about 10 minutes. And I was sat down one day, and sometimes, I wouldn't say struggle, but sometimes, writing a song can take some hours, it can take days sometimes, because sometimes you're just not feeling it. But for some reason, that song just came really quickly to me. And I knew that it needed a video that was gonna sort of visually show what the song is about, because I think if you read the lyrics, unless you sort of really think about them, they're not very obvious lyrics. It's not saying they did that and they did that. It's very metaphorical. So and obviously with it being about the discrimination of women, discrimination of the LGBTQ community over time, discrimination against neurodivergent people over time, it was really important for me to get that aspect into the video itself. So obviously I would then call upon my my female gang of best mates, and luckily they're all extremely talented, extremely creative, and up for doing absolutely anything I tell them to do, which is incredible. And I just said, let's go in the woods. Let's get some smoke. Let's get dressed up, and a huge part was sort of their own personal trauma previously, and sort of bringing that into the music video as well, which was something that I never really thought that they would be open to. But it was a big sort of healing process for them as well, to be able to just literally scream in the woods, get all that previous anger out, get all that previous trauma out, and actually, just own that, you are a woman, you are all different, we are all beautiful in our own way. And it was a really, really healing and memorable thing for us all, I think. And I think that definitely sort of comes out in the music video. You can see it in their faces that they're just like, the feminine rage is, it's unbelievable. It's my favorite thing in the world. Feminine rage is just like, oh, so underrated.
Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Was this thing, if you actually manage to check out Ellen's Instagram, there's a tiny little video on there that's kind of like a back sort of like backdrop video. I forgot my words for it. Kind of like behind the scenes thing, and it's brilliant. You can see exactly what Ellen's talking about. All the women screaming. It's like, it is incredibly powerful, and obviously there's some really talented performers in there as well. I think Thorn Faust's in it as well. If I pronounced it wrong, I apologise.
No, that's correct.
Who was absolutely loving to me when I ate fire with Zira. Thorn was keeping me right, making sure I just didn't burn my face off as well. So thank you very much for that. But that whole thing of this feminine rage, and you rightly so. A couple of your songs are very like that, are very about being proud of who you are and where you come from. And that message is, I think, is an important one, particularly nowadays when you said, like you said, oppression is still big. It is still very frowned upon. The LGBTQ plus community seems to still get a lot of unnecessary hate. Neurodivergency is something I'm very passionate about, having been diagnosed with ADHD. You mentioned this a lot. Is that also, you've mentioned it a few times, is that important to include? Is that definitely important for you to include? Do you think that that's something that needs more exposure on?
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, I've definitely got ADHD, and I it's undiagnosed, but I mean, so many people have come up to me and they're like, Ellen, there's something going on there. And there is, I can feel it. My brain's all over the place all the time. And I never realized, and I thought ADHD was always just being hyperactive and not being able to focus and not being able to do this, not being able to do that. But for me, it's just like, I didn't realize that the way that my brain works actually is just ADHD tendencies. It's not, it's not something that's wrong with me or something that that makes me less of a person. I just think about things in a different way, and my brain just gets overstimulated. I get the social anxiety sometimes, which you probably wouldn't expect. But there's times where I'm in a room and I'm like, oh my god, I need to go. I'm done. Like, my social battery is done. I'm so done right now, and I can't explain it. And there's a few different things, and I've never been able to explain it. And then I sort of started looking into it, and I've realized, I was like, actually, no, this makes sense to me. And I think if you look at a lot of creative people, a lot of them will be neurodivergent. I don't think you could probably name a creative person that didn't have some sort of mental, whether it's a mental illness. I don't see it as mental illness, but there's definitely, there's some neurodiversity there, and I think it's something that should be celebrated rather than used as an excuse or used as as bullets to fire. Like, it's something that should just be embraced. I am weird. I know I'm weird, but deal with it.
It's fine. Yeah, deal with it. I think it's really important. When you said it at the show, I was like, right, okay, yes, because it was actually lockdown for me. So what happened was, is I was basically taken away from society and just left to unmask for 2 years. And by the end of it, I was like, oh, wow. Like I have really, really held a lot back here socially. You know, I like to say I mean, the first time I met you, I was sort of like, hi. And this is something I say quite really. I was like, hi, I'm really nervous. I've got a kid, I don't get out much. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
whole sort of trying to fit in, and I think this goes across the board musically in the music industry. Like say, creatives, you're gonna have some tendencies there, and diagnosed, undiagnosed, it doesn't matter. The
Yeah.
feminine power that we shouldn't be discriminated against for being women, you should not be discriminated against for being gay, you should not be discriminated for anything you find joy in. Why the fuck are we being discriminated against?
Yeah, yeah. And
Why?
that's really important for like an LN show is because we want people to be able to go to shows alone. We want people to be able to walk into shows, whether you're female, male, non-binary, you know, however you identify. We want people to be able to come into the show and feel welcome and feel safe. You know, I've known loads and some of my friends have gone to shows and been assaulted or felt, you know, unsafe at shows. And that is the last thing we would ever want at an LN show. It's about celebrating yourself. It's about celebrating and your differences with people. That's the Satanist in me coming out. You know, it's celebrating yourself and celebrating, you know, who you are as a person and just accepting all your flaws and accepting your differences and being comfortable with that. So, you know, we want people, and I say it at every show, I try and say it that we want you to feel comfortable. We want you to be able to come here alone. If you can't come with someone else, just still come, because, you know, come talk to me, come talk to the band members, come literally. We want to build that community that is just accepting and welcoming and supportive of everyone. That is the aim of LM.
I think that is really important. And I really did feel that. You know, I go to a lot of gigs on my own. It's my thing. I don't my husband doesn't have the same taste in music as me. I go to gigs alone. I went to Sweden on my own. I go, you know, if there's something good I want to hear, I go on my own. And you do feel included. And meeting you for the first time, like I said, I'm always terrified. I was terrified when I met Spartan Warrior. My uncle plays in that band. Like it's just Dawn, but you are so open and welcoming and lovely. And the band are lovely. And Bowden, by the way, the drummer, I'm going to say you by your surname. It's great to play in a House of the Dead if anybody is if there's ever a House of the Dead machine around. But honestly, no, there's this huge welcoming atmosphere, and I just think, you know, you get this the whole thing, the whole aspect of it is what blew me away. It was that whole stage show. It's the whole welcoming. I mean, I consider my ADHD my superpower. God damn, it took us a long time to figure myself out. I'm not going to be shy about it now. I am what I am. You know, I like what I like in life. It's got nothing to do with fuck all else what I do.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Be proud. Go to these shows. Enjoy them. Your next one is at the Grove on the 19th. 19th.
Close. You're only one day out. That's fine.
I've mentioned the Grove a lot. It's on the 19th of July at the Grove. Okay. I've got my ticket. I'm going. I'll have me fact right then. My apologies. So that is your headline ritual gig, yeah? Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because this episode will actually be the night before, so I don't know if there'll be tickets left. I don't think there's going to be tickets left, so I might about beforehand. Tell us a little bit about it.
So this is the first time we've headlined the Grove. Obviously we've headlined quite a few different venues in Newcastle before, but this is the first time at the Grove. The last time we were at the Grove was when we supported Scarlet Riot, I believe, and that was a couple months ago now. That was a really cool gig, but yeah, this is the first time we're headlining. We've got Proven Rivals and A New Nowhere supporting us. So it's going to be absolute midnight. We've sold a canny few tickets already, which is, you know, it's banging for us. That's all you ever really want, really. I think that there's so much anxiety about selling tickets for a show because you know people are going to turn up on the night. You know that people are going to buy last minute tickets, but it's that build up of, oh my God, like, please just buy a ticket. Please don't wait until the day, because and I'm sure that hopefully will sell out. Hopefully, but I'm pretty sure there probably will be some tickets because the Grove is pretty big. So even if we do sell out, it's going to be a long way off that, I think. But we've sold enough to fill it so far, so it's going to be really good. We've got some new props. We have some these surprises along the way. We do have a new song which we did play at Little Buildings when we headlined there. And we have a newer song, well, actually another song which we've played a couple of times, but we still sort of class that as one of our new songs as well. So we've got some new songs coming through. So it's gonna be one hell of a night. One hell of a night.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be so good. No, and the new surprise, new bits of props. Oh, exciting times! Because you sold out Little Buildings, didn't you? Previously, that was sellout big as well.
Yeah, and, that was really cool.
And supporting Raven.
Yeah.
All right.
No, it's mental. Like it was so crazy because obviously they're from Newcastle, but like with living in America now, they've got this such weird accents, and like there would be like Geordie one minute and then like Californian the next, and I was literally sat there and I was like, what are they saying? But they were so lovely. They were so lovely and so welcoming and just so they just couldn't be nicer. And for guys that have been, on the road for however many years now, like, they didn't have to be that nice. They didn't have to be that welcoming, and they just are. They were there for a good time. They wanted everyone to have a good time. You could just tell, like, they just enjoyed what they were doing. So we were immensely proud to have supported them. Immensely proud.
Amazing. It's so cool. This is what I mean. You what you're getting up to is so great because you've got loads. I know there's a few gigs coming as well. You've got Coastal Fest, which I think is down my way at North Tyneside way, isn't it? Coastal Fest.
Yeah, that was a few weeks ago. That Coast Fest.
There you go. Shit,
we do have Warhorns Festival coming up in September.
So there you go.
We do have that, and we. Yeah, well, no, you've probably seen it, and then in fact, because it was the 20-something of June, I think. When I think about it, so you might have thought it was July, so it's fair enough. But yeah, so we did that, and then we've got Warhorns, which is down in Yorkshire. We've got that coming up in September. We may have a couple new surprises coming in the next few weeks or so to announce, but we shall get to that when that happens.
I'm not digging for anything. It's all right. I don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't mind on stage for leaking secrets. Thank you, Dragon. You up on stage.
Yeah. Spotlight. Fake blood.
Oh, so this is.
Yeah.
Nice big demon on stage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, honestly, I do think it is. But I could talk about Ellen so much. Crop top. I could talk about Ellen so much. But it's that whole kind of thing of what you do is so much more as well. I mean, you write for Ellen. You write a lot. Yeah. You write all the songs, or? So I write all the lyrics. All the lyrics are me because I just find it really difficult to sing other people's lyrics. It's I just find I can't really connect to them as well as what I would if I'd written them. So for Ellen, with it being my baby, then I write all the songs. Some of the songs, I mean, I play piano and guitar, so I do try and, write the songs, and most of the songs, if not all of them so far, I have written. There's been a couple which has been a full band thing, which was, Summon was a full band sort of, inspo. There was Shield Wall, that's been a full band sort of get up as well. But I tend to write basic chords, and progressions for that, and then what I'll do is I send it to Chainmail Guy, and he and he will make it sound metal as hell, and he'll put some really cool ass riffs in, and then we sort of come up with that demo, and then we send it to the band, and then we come together at practice and we do it. We add little bits here and then. We take, if someone else has got an idea, we go, oh yeah, that would be cool here. And then we sort of try and mingle in. When we first started the band, it was mainly me and Chainmail Guy that were doing that. But
but now I think it's really nice to just have a full band input for it. You know, everyone's got ideas and it's nice to hear them. So I'd rather, you know, have different ideas from Adam, the guitarist, and then from Chainmail Guy, you know, and then from me, you know, I think it just works when you've got different inspiration from all over the place. And most of the time I'm writing and I'm like, I don't know how I know how it sounds in my head, but I can't actually then transpose it from that down on the instrument. So most of the time I'm like, can it just go like na 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 or whatever it is, and then they'll go, yeah, and then they'll figure it out, and then I'm like, yeah, you've got it.
Teamwork. Yeah,
Teamwork.
It works though. And
Yeah.
I get what you mean about the vocals, because you know your vocal range, you know what you can sing and how you can sing it. Because you are, we'll come back to something else in a minute, but you are a solo artist as well, aren't you? You do like solo performances and stuff.
Yeah.
How did that start?
So I've been performing since I was 14, I think. I first started at open mic nights, little buskers nights at my local pub. First started going when I was 13. And I've always loved a pint. Always loved a pint. And I started going to buskers and I was just blown away. I mean, there were so many incredible musicians. I remember the first time I went, I was just completely inspired by this guy called Trevor Sewell. And he's been over in America. He's won awards. You know, he's an incredible musician. But he just used to go to the local buskers and just, you know, play songs of swing and Copperhead Road and just random stuff. And I was just sitting there. And I was like, oh, this is incredible. So that inspired me to start playing guitar. And I would just go to open mic nights, learn, you know, covers and just go and sing them. And then I just started writing my own songs, and that's where Hangman's Son came from, and Asylum, eventually The Slaughter, and typically, obviously, all the other songs, really. I played piano at school, didn't play it for years, and then during lockdown, I taught myself how to play piano again. Wrote some songs on the piano, so I wrote Hellfire, Broken Hearts on the piano. I've written Take the Arrow, which is a new song for us, written that on the piano as well. And I tend to write a lot of sort of acoustic songs, and I've got loads of them which just aren't right for Ellen or my other band Manors. They're just not right for either of them, because they've got country influences, or you know, they've got like poppy influences, and they're just not meant to be metal songs. They're meant to be acoustic songs. So I love that aspect of things, and I also just really enjoy doing covers every now and then. I don't do it all the time, but it's nice to just sing random stuff and just see people enjoy it. And I mean, the last time I did a acoustic show, because I do like a mix of my own songs and covers, and if people don't like the originals, then we've got the covers, so it's
Have a cover instead.
Yeah, literally. But the last time I'd finished my set, and it was just my local. So there was a lock-in, and they were like, oh, just carry on playing. And we went to like 1 o'clock in the morning just playing. It was ridiculous. And this woman came up to me. She was like, can you please play Evanescence, Bring Me Back to Life? And I was like, oh, God. I was like, I guess. So I like quickly found the chords, and I was singing it. And then she started like chiming in on the microphone. She was over my shoulder like this. And she was like, wake me up. Playing the piano is incredible. But yeah, so I've got a lot of songs that just aren't meant to be metal. They're not meant to be full band. And it's what do you do with that? What do you do with them? So I think what I'm going to do in the future is I'm just going to record them and then just sort of put them out there as something else, I think, and maybe create a whole new artist. I don't know what to do with them. So if anyone has any ideas, let me know. Jump into my DMs.
Yes, messenger. Do you know what it is? There's a lot of artists like this. There is an artist that I have worked with who has numerous genre hopping and has albums that are more indie and stuff like that, and you wouldn't know. So, you know, there's always pseudonyms, there's always things that, you know, you can do with these things. But I think it's great, you know, like find out that you are a solo singer, and then you're in this badass baddie metal band, and then you are in a sort of the best way. Now, excuse me if I describe this wrong. This new sort of metalcore kind of Manors band. And how do you go from sort of playing all these amazing songs that you do, because you do scream in LN, but you sort of have this amazing voice, this clear, very, very, very talented voice. Like, I can't sing for shit, right? I can't. It is the most embarrassing thing ever. If I start singing, we know I've had too much to drink and someone's going to that's where that's going, right? So how did you find that from this beautiful voice that you've got to then being able to scream like a total baddie? I mean, there's some female screamers out there, but it's clear when you do it. You can switch from being screaming and then you're straight back into this pure clear vocal, and it's like, how the fuck did you do that? So how did that come about?
A lot of practice. And even now, sometimes when I've been on some vocal rest time and I haven't, sang for a while, going between the two is difficult. You've got to keep, moving those muscles. You've got to keep using it. Otherwise you do lose it. But I think it sort of stemmed because I was listening to a lot of Spirit Box and Ice Nine Kills and Five Finger Death Punch. Who else was I listening to? And I was just like, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to have that tone in my voice. I want to be able to scream like that. And I thought, well, why don't I just do some like throat singing? So I had a look at like medieval throat singing, and I was like, nah, I don't think that's for me. And then I started researching, because whenever I do anything, I like to do a lot of research. I'm a bit of a nerd like that. So I started researching all about screaming, and there's different types of screaming, whether you're doing fry screaming or you're using false chords. So I use false chords. I'm terrible at fry screaming, not very good at all. And some people are incredible at it, but for some reason, I just can't do it. So if anyone wants to give me some lessons on how to fry scream. But yeah, so I just started practicing, and the only place I was still living with my parents at the time, and the only place that I could practice it was in the car. So any time that I was traveling somewhere, even if it was the local corner shop, I was like in the car, just full on like blasting it out, put some Spirit Box on, and just practice. But it took me for I don't even know, probably at least a couple months to feel fairly okay with it. And then after that, I mean, it's taken me, I mean, over a year now to actually feel comfortable in what I'm doing and to be able to feel where it is and to not have pain and to be able to transition. I mean, when I first started, I mean, the transitions were not good at all. But it is just practice. And I'm a firm believer that anyone can sing, anyone can scream. It is just practice. Genuinely, anyone can sing, and it's just practice, genuinely. But yeah, it's taken a while. It's not an easy process.
Well, that's cool that you acknowledge that and you just go, oh yeah, it was great, it just happened. That's fine, I just did it. The fact that 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 process is there and that there is all these different types, because somebody like me doing the pots, nobody is in the house, I will do it. I'll have a bash at anything, but there is absolutely no way that is being heard in public. I feel sorry for my neighbours. God knows what they hear. I think I'm being murdered on a weekly basis. Like, oh my God, what's happening there? It is that clarity. And again, Manors, you're juggling a solo career, you're juggling Ellen, and then you're juggling Manors as well, which are another incredibly impressive band. That was a riot. When I saw you at the head of steam, that was unreal. It was the first time I heard you scream, because I hadn't seen Ellen by that point, and I was like, oh, holy crap, that's incredible. And then straight away I was playing voice, and I was like, oh my God, what is going off? Like, I'm from an era of female, I'm considerably older than people realize. I'm from an era of female screamers where, like we had Courtney Love, we had like Jack Off Jill, we had Kitty, we had sort of stuff like, and we had like other female singers, but there was a band that came out in 2005-ish called Mab. Not a lot of people have heard them. They're Italian. And there was the front girl can scream in such a way. Honestly, it blows your socks off. It's unreal. And then she turns into an opera singer. 1 minute she's opera, the next minute she's screaming. And it's insane. So I come from an era of seeing bands that are just really different and fit. Katie Jane Garside, a perfect example of this whole kind of female screaming voice. It hasn't been It is, but it went very metal. So you had like your Alyssa Glows Whites, and then your Angela
Yeah,
Gossows coming out, where it was just all dominating, screaming. So to see it
yeah.
coming back in a way, whereas that clear vocal is mixed with it, and your changes are spot on. To hearing that, I was like so excited. It was like, oh my God. And then it's doubled up with both manners in a very sort of different, sort of synthy kind of, you know, best description. It's hard to put them in a box, to be honest with you, manners.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And very hard to put in a box. And then Ellen with pagan metal female vibe. So
Mhm.
cool that you're bringing that. Do you want to tell me a little bit about manners if you want to use a space for that? Because it was a very
Yeah,
different
yeah.
to what I've seen for a long, long time. So that was really good.
Yeah, yeah. So Manners is, I would, well, Jake especially would definitely describe it as metalcore. I would say it's pop metal. That's the way I describe it. But I don't know. It's much more poppy. I think the structure of the songs is definitely poppy, and that's something that Jake wanted to stick to. Um, and initially, but I think now we're sort of open to changing things up a bit, being there, done that sort of thing. So I'm interested to see where Manners goes, but it's definitely different to LN, and it's been a bit difficult for me because sort of having that persona and character on stage is really cool for me, because that is the person I want to be in real life. I want to be that demonic sexy witch in real life, but you can't. It's not the way life works. So
it is hard to have that.
Yeah, you can't go around just like spitting blood at people all the time. Apparently it's not acceptable. So so to go from that and to have this really ferocious character, to then being on stage and sort of dressing fairly naturally and being myself and looking like myself on a night out, it's really bizarre. It's so weird for me because I don't know who that person is, as a stage woman and, as a front woman of this band. It's like, it's taken me a while. And I've said to the lads, I'm like, what do I wear? Like, what should I wear? And the lads are like, I don't know. Wear what you want. But I'm like, I don't know what to wear because I normally just wear baggy jeans and a baggy t-shirt and my hair's up like this and I've got some random dots on my face. So you need to tell me what I need to wear. So I've taken a lot of inspiration from Courtney LaPlante because obviously this lead singer Spirit Box, she's so cool. I mean, again, vocal wise, but style wise, she's an icon. Same as Hayley Williams, I guess, as well. She's always been a bit of an icon for me. Well, not a bit of an icon. She is an icon. And so I try and just sort of look at these inspirational females, like Poppy as well. She's a super cool gal, and her outfit choices are incredible. So it's just trying to work out who I am. I think I'm still in that process at the minute of working out who I am as that person, that lead singer of Manners, and who I want to portray, because I think I still come across sometimes as like a little bit scary, and I don't I don't know whether that actually fits the vibe of the band.
It does. It totally does. There was this bit where you were like, "Get in the fucking pit," and everyone was just like, "Oh!" It was like, "Oh my God!" Like,
I'm just really bossy and aggressive. That's all it is. That I'm not bossy and aggressive in my normal day. So it's like, when can I get that out? It's on stage with looking at randomers. It's really bad. But yeah. Yeah. It's the one time that men actually do what you tell them to do. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
oh my God, you're a powerhouse, and this is the thing. Like, I'm not the same person off camera that I am in real life. I'm incredibly shy. Until I've had a couple of drinks, and then you want to just put us in a box and put us away because everyone's like, "What's that?" But it is this thing of that, this persona. And I was going to ask if you found it hard, because you're going from this huge, and yes, you can't go around at work putting dead hearts on people's desks and stuff. Unfortunately, not.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
It would be great fun, but we can't. And it's this whole kind of sort of one thing, and then you go into another, and the vocal styles are different as well, and then the musical style and changing from that to that. And it's great that you say you do find that difficult, because anybody who looks at it wouldn't believe that. It's effortless. It is an effortless thing, and you are this
Yeah.
effortless, confident, screamy kind of like I say, get in the fucking pit. Everybody, the whole place just exploded. There was drinks everywhere. There's like,
They're like, all
you
right,
didn't
okay.
halfway up the wall. Oh, well, never
Sorry.
mind. I didn't want it anyway. It's fine.
Yeah.
16,000 cans of red stripe lying around everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's this whole kind of thing of, though, it's so important to acknowledge that when people go on stage, it's not them. It's quite often it is that character. And
Yeah.
manners for you is something, it is a very different thing. And it's a
Mhm.
very needed thing, I think, in the music industry at the moment. So I think you've got two bands that fill
Mhm.
gaps that are kind of very much there at the moment. And I think that's really important.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can't. How on earth do you do this? Is the main question I want to ask you. How do you manage this mentally, between switching between sort of this band, writing, solo work, any career you've got, any sort of life outside of it, this whole thing? How do you manage that? Do you think it's something that you can this sounds awful. Think it's something you can
Mhm.
continue for a long period of time, or do you think it's
Mhm.
going to get more easier as it goes along because you'll find who you are in those characters, or
Um, it's certainly difficult at times. I think anyone would get overwhelmed, and I think anyone can get overwhelmed with just a day job, never mind anything else. So to have a day job and then two bands and then a solo project on the side, it's a lot. But there's no other way that I would rather fill my time genuinely. I At the end of the day, I want to be a full-time musician. I want to be able to earn a living off music, and you know if that means having multiple projects at the same time, then that's what it means. I that's been my dream since I can remember. I've always wanted to be a rock star, and I would say to people that go, "What do you want to be when you're older?" And I go, "Well, I want to be a rock star," and they just laugh at you. And I say it now. They're like, "What? What is your 5-year plan? What is your 10-year goal?" And I'm like, "I want to be a rock star," and they start laughing, and I'm like, "Well, sorry, Janice, but I want to be a rock star. I want to travel the world. Like, do you know what I mean? That is my life goal. So if if this is what it takes, then I'm doing it. I'm doing it."
you earn it. You've earned it. You've earned it now, man. You've got to come out of it. Good for you. Good for bloody you. I think this is it. So many people don't acknowledge their dreams, and they don't go into it, and they go into a day job. And yeah, right. It's very overwhelming. I find day-to-day life very overwhelming. That's okay. But I think when you are working in something that you love, you can push that bit further, and you can get what you want out of it. Like when you see like what Thorn does, and she fire eats like you would not believe. That woman is a dragon, right? Like
Yeah.
literally, yeah, unreal. To do what you love and to make a living out of it and to fight for it, you've got to do it. The music industry it's a wild place, and if you don't put
Mhm.
everything you've got into it,
Mhm.
then it
Yeah.
isn't going to happen, because you can't just half-ass it. It's
No.
it's a thing. Good for you, man. And you've got it. You've got two great bands at your front. They are unreal. Um, both I've seen live now. I'm looking forward to the Grove. It's this whole kind of thing of, like I said to you, at the beginning, I'm glad I got you on before you got big, because it would happen. I interviewed Five Finger Death Punch back in 2000 and what 9, and I was like, these guys are amazing, and everyone was
Mhm.
like, they're all right, and I was like, no, they're amazing.
Mhm.
So I'm not bigging myself up there, but I think if
You make stars.
I'm the one that picks them and goes, they're good, shine down, they're good, that'll do. I don't mean them by any stretch of the imagination, good God. But it's that whole kind of thing. I'd like to think I know what I'm talking about if I run a podcast.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Hopefully.
Maybe not. Maybe it's just the gin. We'll never know. We'll find out. We'll find out in a couple
Both
of
are,
years' time.
both are good. Both are good. Gin is also good, so I'm fine with that. I'm totally cool with that.
But this is the thing. So you've got obviously a solo career. You write. You do everything. The performances are incredible. But what I want to know as well, and something that we are, because obviously when I do this, I do it for Nerdy Up North, and I say this quite a lot. What are your loves? What are your passions outside of music? The nerdy things that get you. So all the things that you love, that you are obsessed about. That so, for example, mine. If you haven't watched any of these, I'm a huge Star Trek fan. I live and breathe Star Trek. I will watch it until it comes out of my ears. It is ridiculous. I am such a child. I've met them all. I will go and pay hundreds on autographs. I am a massive nerd. What are
Yeah.
yours?
Mine would definitely be horror movies. I'm definitely a horror movie girl. If I've got a spare minute, I will be watching a horror movie, and I will rewatch them. I can't even tell you how many times I've watched The Conjuring or the whole Conjuring universe. To be honest, anything by James Wan, I've watched it at least twice, if not 5 times. Um, I love anything to do with spooky stuff. Really. Anything spooky, anything weird. But I love being active. I love being outdoors. Outdoors is my safe place. I love hiking. I love walking. I just like being around Mother Nature. I just find it so healing and such a safe place to be. And I find that when I am feeling anxious or overwhelmed, just being outdoors and being amongst the trees and the leaves is just so, healing. And so that is definitely a big thing for me. Other than that, it's supporting other artists, supporting other musicians. Any chance I've got, I'm going to a gig. I'm going to support another local band. I'm going to support my best friend Thorn, whether it's at Venom or whether it's something that she's doing. My other gals, whatever they're doing, it's it's just supporting, and I think that's a huge thing for me. I think it's lovely to get that support, but if you get it, then you should be given that support as well. And I'm a huge believer in that. So, if it wasn't for the local scene and my mates, then Ellen or Manors wouldn't be doing as well as what they are today. So, if I can give back and go and support someone else and, buy their merch and go and, buy a ticket to their show, then I'm going to do that because I'd want someone to do that for me, and people did do that for me. So that's all I would want, going
That's
forward.
lovely. No, I love it. I think it's great because I think that is a passion in itself. And I think you're right. What you said earlier, buying advance tickets of shows. Sometimes you can't, sometimes you got to work out whether you can fit it in your schedule. But if you know you're going to go to a gig, buy an advance ticket. It's the most vital thing you can do for a band because they know how many people they've got going. And sometimes that covers their cost to keep that gig on. If that gig doesn't have enough money, sometimes it ain't going to happen. And you can't just expect to turn up on the night for a gig that's not going to happen. Obviously we've got, like you've mentioned, Venom Fest. Obviously I know LM played that, and that is a really another big thing that we happens quite regularly now. I think there's another one coming up shortly. So I've not got the date for it. I apologise, but I know there is something coming up with that. It's that whole kind of thing of like you say, supporting, buying the merch, making sure, because if you don't buy the merch, if you don't buy the CDs, if you don't buy the tickets, bands can't survive anymore. This is the music industry. It's not a funded industry. It's not something where record labels drop in your lap anymore. It's not the thing from the 80s or the films. You've got to fight for it and do what you're doing. 2 bands, solo working, writing, day job, going and supporting other ones. I mean, I've seen photos of you wearing t-shirts. I think this might sound really stalkerish. Your Instagram came up when you were on a ski slope with another band's t-shirt. And I'm like, yes.
I went on a family skiing holiday in March, and I had this idea of we were only there for a week, so I only had 5-6 days skiing, I think in that time. So I had to plan which band t-shirts I was going to take, and that was the most stressful thing I've ever done in my life. Honestly, like as if packing wasn't stressful enough, I then had to filter through my I want to say over 40 band t-shirts that I've got. It's ridiculous. It's so bad. Well, it's not bad, but you get what I'm saying. And I had to filter through them all, and I was like, "Which ones do I take? I've only got 6." And then I was like, "Well, I can take some for a nighttime as well." So I think I took about 12 with me for for a week, and then I made my sister wear some of them as well. And I was like, "No, you have to wear them this day. Like, you have to wear this one, and you have to wear that one." She's like, "Ellen, I don't want to wear this." Like, my sister is not the same. Is not into the same music as I am, and like kind of the polar opposite, really. So for her to wear, you know, I mean, as much as she supports Manners because I'm in it, it's not her type of music. So I was like, wear the Manners t-shirt, and I'll wear this one, and then I was like, wear this one instead, and then so yeah, so then I'd taken pictures at the top of the slope every day, just with my ski jacket off, and then just with the t-shirt showing, and I didn't tell anyone I was going to do it, and I just thought, you know, if it might just be a really nice thing to do. So I did it, and I put it on my story, and I tagged the bands each day, and it was really nice, and like I say, people weren't expecting it, so then they were like, oh, like this is really sweet, thank you. And I was like, well, you know, it's pretty cool to be able to rep your friends in a different country while you're on a skiing holiday. You never know, like someone might walk past and think, oh, that looks like a cool t-shirt, I'll Google that. Do you know what I mean? You just never know. You never know.
Yeah, and this is it. I think it's really cool, and I do know you support a lot, and I think that is vital. I think this was a conversation I had with Dave Spot Murray. The whole thing is supporting each other. It's sticking together, and it is wearing the t-shirts, it's buying the merch, and it's pushing and talking about it and sharing and going, I saw this band and they were amazing, and somebody going, like you say, that t-shirt is absolutely dope. There's an artist called Go Snap on Instagram. She does a lot of work for Priest, and her t-shirts are just fucking incredible, right? And it's got to the point now where I'm starting to collect them because they're her artwork. It's more about the artwork than it is the t-shirt. I've got to have it. And it's little things like that, you know. I think having all of that and the fact that you do rep these bands and promote and support your friends, and that the community in the Northeast is so big as well. You've sort of already told me a little bit about what's next for Ellen. What's next? What's next in general? I'm gonna have to stop wearing a crop top. I'm too old for this, Clark.
Oh, don't be silly. You look amazing. You look amazing.
Thank you. So what's next for Ellen? What's next for you, Manners? What are we looking for? So all the people who watch this video who are now going to watch out for you because I've said you're awesome and they have to go and see you. And I know me stuff apparently. What's next, Tony?
Worldwide stardom, I think, is next for me.
Absolutely. Yes.
So for Ellen, we've got we're actually gonna start recording our album. So it'll be our debut album. First ever album that I personally have recorded, that Ellen has recorded. Which we're super, super excited about. That's going to be really, really cool. It's going to cost a lot of money. So for anyone watching, please go and buy our merch. Please go and stream our songs. Please help us along the way and come to our gigs and support whichever way you can. As for Manners, we are about to film a new music video in the coming month, I believe. I'm not going to say what song it's for, but it's going to be pretty dope. And so they're the sort of most the upcoming things that we've got at the moment, and then obviously gigs in the future. But yeah. I mean, I'm manifesting that worldwide stardom. I am every day. Every day I'm manifesting it, and I'm just waiting for Mother Earth to just be like, you know what, you're ready for this now. Please take it, and I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it.
Mad not do it. You just wait for it. It'll happen. It'll happen. I'm gonna be stood somewhere at a festival like, knew it. Knew it. Called it.
Honestly, I've got everything.
It would be a, I mean, I'm the only one that swore here, but it would be an absolute sin. It would be an absolute sin if your talent did not end up massive. I mean, and I'm not just saying that. I don't just say things. I can't lie to save my life, so I'm not going to sit here and tell lies. I do think, you know, the fact that you can cross genres and that you can sing different things and that you can write across genres, it's a rare talent. It is a talent that I've seen a few people with, but it is a rare talent, and those people need to sort of stick together and acknowledge each other. And I think, you know, like you say, acknowledging and supporting your friends and your bands and being out there and touring and getting on the road and playing all these gigs, and like you do, and these dope ass little videos that you put on Instagram that are just so funny, like pulling up in a car and speaking and stuff like that I do not have the confidence to do. Just, you know, don't dream it, be it, that whole kind of Rocky Horror thing. Yeah, absolutely. And the influences that you bring in and the nerdiness and the passion is just unreal. And I had to have you on. I would have been devastated. I think you were like second on my list when I first started the podcast, when the whole podcast was on the plan, and I was like, right, that's got to happen. It has to happen.
And here we are. And here we are.
Here we are. Finally, I got it after walking up to the venue and going, "Do you want to be on my podcast?" And you go,
"Oh no, it's honestly, it's been a pleasure, and thank you for your kind words there. That honestly, it means so much to me, because I think, you know, imposter syndrome is big in my world, and it's you know, everyone has their insecurities, but I think sometimes you can just really get lost in it all. And for someone, you know, on the outside to say such lovely things, honestly, it genuinely means a lot to me. And those are the things that I will think about at night instead of overthinking things.
So there was this blonde lass who went, "You're awesome," and shut up overthinking.
Yeah.
Go to sleep.
But honestly, it means the world. So thank you so much for those kind words.
You're so welcome, always. One last thing, and I always drop this on people, and it always either gets a very mixed response. Is there anything you want to ask me? Now, this can be anything with an open and honest answer. People have challenged me. People have asked me random things. Anything.
Oh God.
He always gets that response. Oh
no! Yeah, I know. I should have thought about this. I should have thought about this sooner.
Why?
Oh,
why? Because then you wouldn't get an honest question out of you. If you
yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose. Okay. Right. Oh God. I don't know. All I can think of is cheese. What's your favorite cheese?
Cheese. I'm dairy intolerant, if you want to know.
Shocking. Yeah, we're no longer friends. No longer friends, Kirky. No longer friends.
Sorry.
Can't believe that.
The only bonus about that is if ever we go where there's cheese, you get my cheese too. So that's
a very good point, actually. Very good point. Yeah, we can be friends again. I'll allow that. Yeah.
So cheese.
Right. Okay. Challenge wise.
Oh, shit.
So, right, okay, here's the challenge. So at the Grove, right, at our gig coming up on the 19th of July at the Grove in Newcastle.
What have I got myself into?
You have to, or rather you don't have to, I'm daring you to, I'm challenging you to get involved in the Wall of Death. That's what's going to happen.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, love that. I'll look out for you in the crowd.
So the next one, when I've got a pot on my arm, you know what's happened?
I'll sign it. It'll be fine. I'll sign it.
This is a deal and a half, and I love it. So now I'm camera like this, going, "I am Kirky, your gig mistress, and I am going to go in a wall of death at the Ellen gig and die."
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. You are so welcome.
This is going to be so funny. Oh my God. I mean, I'm older than I look. This is
no.
Well.
Nah. Guaranteed there's definitely older people than you going to be in there. So I'm telling you now, you'll be fine.
Floating along. Oh, excellent. I love it. Ellen, this has been an absolute, like, my face hurts from laughing. And
yeah, mine is quite sore now. Thank you.
No, thanks. Thank you so much for giving me your time, the joy that you bring at the gigs. Honestly, it's incredible. You have to come and see them. If you missed this one, because this episode will go out sort of the night before, if you missed this gig, you must go and catch either Ellen, Manors. If you see her performing solo, please go and see her. You are in for the biggest treat. And if you guys are not at a big festival, either band, at some point, even that yourself, at some point, I will eat my heart quite literally. I don't want to do that, so please now get famous. It is entirely important that you back these beautiful artists that we've got, because we have such fucking talent in the Northeast, and it deserves to be backed and loved. Thank you, Ellen. You have been an absolute joy, and I'll do my little ending before I forget to do it. So if you want to say bye, this is your time to do it, and then I will do my shitty little ending.
No, just thank you so much for having me, and thank you everyone for listening. It's been an absolute pleasure. So yeah, go and check us out, and hopefully see you at a show.
You will. Links will be down below. I will put a video on the Gigs Up North Instagram because I will promise I will accept that challenge. Hopefully I don't die. If I die, this has been Gigs Up North. I am Kirky, your gig mistress. Behave, be good. If you can't behave, don't get caught. Over and out, Gigs Up North.